All right, everybody. I hope that you are having a fantastic day today. And that's it. Today is the day. Today it's the day that where we are going to be learning new words, new vocabulary about food. That's going to be today's lesson. And remember that this lesson is brought to you by I Speak, our fluency and developing speaking skill program, where the main idea is that you can actually improve your spoken English, right? Remember that this type of lessons are the main idea of them is that you have the opportunity to improve your vocabulary, to improve your pronunciation, to improve the strategies on how to give an answer, a proper answer every single time you have simple questions regarding to food this time, right? So guys, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. Today's topic is going to be about food. All right. Guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Nika Lingua Radio Podcast. Today's lesson is about food vocabulary. Before I go ahead and get started, I hopefully expect that everybody is just having a really good time, even though the situation that we are facing right now in Nicaragua because of the hurricane Eta, right? The good thing about this is that this hurricane has already downgraded to a tropical storm. I know that there are still some risk that vulnerable people can have, even though that it has been downgraded to just tropical storm. But I hopefully expect that, according to some forecasters, this afternoon, this situation is gonna be gone forever, right? On the other hand, I understand that people from Bilwi, which has been the most affected part because of the hurricane, I hopefully expect that they are also doing just great, just fine. All right, everybody. So so we are going to start then with today's lesson. Today's lesson is going to be about food, right? And we're starting right now. So before I continue with the lesson, keep in mind that this lesson is brought to you by our speaking strategy. It's a program where we teach you up to 12 different strategies for you to develop your spoken English. The main idea is that if you are in level 10, level 11, level 12, or you just recently finished your all levels, you can have a place where you can practice your spoken English, your speaking abilities. So you can have the opportunity to find those job or that scholarship or the opportunity to travel to other country and live there just because you speak the language, just because you speak English, right? So that's the main idea of our speaking strategy. And just for you to know that we have our developing and improving speaking skill, which is a private lessons where we teach you these strategies, how to improve your speaking, how to actually improve your pronunciation, fluency, coherent grammar range, and vocabulary. And we do all this based on the IELTS speaking evaluation criteria, right? And through our methodology, we hope that actually will help you out to improve your speaking skills. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and continue with today's lesson. And the first word, right? We're gonna start with the first word. The first word is foodie. So let's go ahead and see what does foodie mean, right? So foodie means, let's go ahead and see, it's a person with a particular interest in food, a gourmet, right? So I don't know how many of you have watched already this movie, Ratatouille, right? You know that Ratatouille is basically a little mouse in France, and he wants to become a chef. So he has this kind of imaginary scenario where a truly chef shows out in his mind and tells him that cooking, or the person that cooks can come from anywhere, right? So he has been thinking about this, and turns out that he lives with his family, a large amount of rats, right? And they can eat whatever thing, but he is the foodie one, meaning that he is like the one who is really interested in gourmet food, in finest food, right? That's the main idea. So we have our example over there, and pretty much the example says, if you are a foodie but aren't sure about buying a food machinery, read on for great buying tips that any chef can use. What it's actually telling you, it's telling you that a foodie person is the one that pay attention to the details, is not trying to satisfy his hunger or her hunger. He's just trying to satisfy his visual, right? He wants to see something visual at the moment that they are trying to eat something. That's a foodie person. Now, the question of the day is, are you a foodie person, or you just can eat whatever it comes, right? Alrighty, so the second word of today, guys, is sedentary lifestyle. And the meaning of this is that it's the type of life involving a little or no physical activity at all, right? So as you can see, and you can take a look at the picture itself, it's not just only sitting, right? It's basically all the activities that you do that does not imply any physical movement. So that's considered a sedentary lifestyle, even though that you work, even though that you're reading, even though you're playing, even though you're watching television, or having a phone call. As long as you're doing it, sitting it, and pretty much you don't do anything else than that, that's considered a sedentary lifestyle. And one of the example we have over there would be that obesity and a sedentary lifestyle has been linked, right, with an increased risk of heart disease. I need to be worried about this because I'm afraid to say that I'm a kind of the guy who lives a sedentary lifestyle. I need to find some time for myself to work out, at least doing some push-ups and jumping jack at my place, right? That's the main idea. Alrighty, everybody, so the following word is processed food. And when it comes to processed food, we have to say that it's the food that has been treated to change their physical, chemical, microbiological, or sensory properties. And nowadays, because of the lifestyle that we are just facing or living, so we might ending up eating processed food most of the time, right? So processed foods are quick, which is true, right? But are often high in salt and sugar, which is also true. And being honest with you, this is a powerful combination that most of the people who are in the industry of food, they already know. They already know that the combination of salt and sugar makes you happy, meaning that you're gonna be eating this kind of combination as much as possible. Just let me go ahead and give you an example. Coke has a lot of amount of sugar, right? Coke. And if you add that to some chips, potato chips, which are salty, and you have that combination, you feel like satisfied at the very beginning, but then you want more and more and more because it's just a combination of the salt and sugar. Another combination of this will be considered maruchan, right? That's another, even though that is a soup and everybody knows that is highly risk for your health, we end up consuming that, right? Especially after a good night, right? Or a good party. Alrighty, so the following word, guys, that I want you to take a look in today's episode is cannot stand. And we use it to say that you do not like someone or something at all, or that you think that something is extremely unpleasant. And you can use it with people, or you can use it especially with food, right? For example, I can't stand people smoking around me when I'm eating. I used to be I used to smoke a lot, perhaps when I was in high school. Nowadays that I'm a grown guy, I just decided to stop, smoking. And being quite honest with you, yes, this is something that happens to me. I can't stand people when they smoke. Not even when I eat my food, right? If I'm talking to a person and is smoking, and I don't really enjoy talking to that person any longer. So I cannot stand people smoking around me in any situation, not even eating, right? Alrighty, good. So our next word, guys, is going to be texture, right? Texture. Okay, so this is how the food feels in your mouth, right? It turns out that the food can feel crispy, soft, smooth, crunchy, lumpy, firm, stringy, and chewy, right? So this is basically great words, great adjective that you can use every single time that you are trying something new. The texture the food has whenever you are chewing it, right? We got the example over there is that this cheese has an open, crumbly texture with a strong flavor, right? This vocabulary, guys, is very specific, so I suggest you to take note. You can pause the video after we finish this live and just look for the words that perhaps you don't understand and try to make your own sentences, right? We got crisp or crispy, soft, smoothly, crunchy, crunch, lumpy, firm, stringy, and chewy. Good. The following words that I want you to teach, guys, is to give heaves, right? It's self-explanatory, as you can see it in the picture just right there. To give heaves means to feel as if you are going to vomit. You haven't done it yet, but it feels like you're about to. And the example we have, he slept until mid-afternoon and he awoke without the heaves. So it's that kind of reaction that you make, but you can't, right? To give the heaves. All right. The following word, guys, it's to put off. To put off. And the meaning of to put off, one, to do something or to take someone not like someone or something, right? That is to put off. It's basically to refuse, right? Not to like it. I don't want to do this, right? Or you make another person not to like that thing, right? And we can use this especially with food, right? For example, over there we have, don't let the restaurant decor, right, put you off. The food is really good. In other words, even though sometimes when we go to a restaurant and people perhaps have said that it's the best restaurant in place when it comes to flavor because the food is really, really, flavorish. So, and then you see perhaps the wall, you see perhaps the waiters, and you see perhaps the environment, and you don't feel like, right? So in this scenario, we're talking about decor, which is the decoration, right? It's the short abbreviation or the short word. It's not abbreviation, but it's just the short word of decoration, decor. And sometimes we feel like, I don't like this place, but perhaps you haven't even tried the food. For example, in my personal opinion, in Leon, right, there is a place very well known. I'm not gonna say the name, but if you want to have bean soup, this is the place that you need to go. I don't like the decoration, but I have tried the food, right, and the food is really good. And if we talk about prices, the prices are cool too. I mean, you can afford, right? You can even invite your friends, and you can afford all the amount of money that you need to pay just for the dishes and the meal they serve there. Uh, Me personally, I don't like the decor, but the food itself, it's really good. And I'm not a foodie guy, yeah, right? Just for the records, I'm not a foodie guy. Okay, next one is square meal, guys. A square meal. Take be careful, right? It's not milk, right? It's meal, square meal, and it's pretty much a substantial, satisfying, and balanced meal. Those people who love to have a balanced meal, those people who love to have those kind of five meals a day. I, being honest with you, I normally have 3 meals a day, but according to science, the best way for you to have an speedy metabolism will be to have 5 meals a day in small portion, of course, right? I have 3 meals a day, but in a big portion, and sometimes, frankly, my meal is not that square. In this scenario, square meal is to have balanced meal. You have the right amount of proteins, the right amount of carbohydrates. You have the right amount of fatty product. Remember that carbs, proteins, and fat, it's very essential for your health, right? For your system, for your body, for it's substantial, right? So we have the example over there, and says they haven't had a square meal for 4 or 5 days. Me personally, when my wife is not at home, my diet changes a lot. I will have to say that she's the one in charge of my square meal, making sure that I have that proper balance, right? Every single time I have my 3 meals a day. Alrighty, next word is gonna be hearty, right? Or hearty. Okay, so it's a food, wholesome and basically substantial, right? So whenever you are a little bit sick, right? When you perhaps you have a cold, and perhaps you don't want to have anything heavy, you don't want to have nothing solid. Perhaps you just want to have some substantial, right? That's considered our hearty, right? And the example over there we have is basically that demand a hearty breakfast, right? So pretty much when you are pretty much sick, and at the same time you don't want to have something solid, you can have this substantial meal, and that is considered a hearty meal. It consider a hearty breakfast, hearty lunch, or hearty dinner, right? Hearty. Good. So the next one is a really good expression, guys, that you can actually use in your every single time that you give the opportunity to yourself to speak about food and you are on diet. And this one is to be on a health kick, right? To be on a health kick. And pretty much it refers to wanting to eat healthy, and perhaps to do exercise or any other activities that might consider be beneficial to one's health, right? So besides having a really good diet that will help you out to have a deficit in your ingest of food, right? It's also going to have an activity along together with your diet that will help you out to be a health kick, right? So pretty much it's self-explanatory over there. It's pretty much that you are saying to fatty food or fast foods or junk foods a no, right? And we got an example over there. If I'm on this healthy kick that I'm trying to drop this 7 lbs. lbs, it's pounds, right? lbs around my waist, right? So a person who has some fat around their waist, so sometimes we need to work out with our diet and also with some physical activities that will help you out to boost our goal, right? So that's the expression, to be on a health kick. Good job, guys. So we have done with the words. We have just record or we just have learned right? Through 10 new words, 10 new expressions that actually you can use them in our speaking section next Saturday at 10 a.m., right? It's going to be our radio next Saturday. And now the main idea is that we have some words, right? We have some words just right here. You can take a look at them. We have the heave, cannot stand, foodie, hearty, and puts me off. And we also have some exercises, some sentences. And the main idea is to match the words that I have just right here above me next to the sentences that we have just right there. Oh, I'm sorry, to here. All right, good. So the first word, the first sentence says, I'm not a, I can eat just about anything. If you were paying attention at the very beginning of today's lesson, you should know already what word it is. So it's not a big deal for me. Which one do you think it is? Which word do you think would be suitable for you to place just right there? The heaves or the heave? What do you think? Or cannot stand? I'm not a cannot stand. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box, at the chat box. Let's see over there. Alrighty, so that's right. We got a foodie, right? I'm not a foodie guy, and that's gonna be the first one. I'm not a foodie. I can just eat about anything, so it's not a big deal for me. Great answer, great expression when somebody asks you, what do you want to have for food, or what do you want to have for lunch? Instead of saying, I want to have a chicken dish, right? You can say something like, I'm not a foodie. I can just eat about anything. So it's not a big deal for me. Unless you are a foodie, right? Unless you are a foodie. All right, the following sentence says, there are only one kind of food I really dislike, and that is bananas. I absolutely them. So he's talking about the bananas. He doesn't like banana. He dislikes bananas. So we have the word just right there. Which word do you think is going to be the proper match, the best match for that sentence? Put me off. Hearty. Obviously, food is not any longer an option. And we have the heave. That's right. It will be cannot stand, right? So there are only one kind of food I really dislike, and that is bananas. What do you think about that, guys? What kind of question? Do you want a banana? So instead of saying no, you can say something like, you know what? There is a mistake over there. There is only one kind of food. There's a mistake, guys. So let me go ahead and fix it just right there, so we can actually have it proper, right? The proper way. So let me see just right here, something very, very quickly. So that will be the sentence, right? There is. Alrighty, so I think we're done. Cool. Okay. All right, so there's only one kind of food I really dislike, and that is banana. So the question is, do you want a banana? And instead of saying no, you can say something like, you know what, there's only one kind of food I really dislike, and that is banana. Or the food, or whatever they are offering you when it comes to obviously food, right? And then you can add something like, you know what, I absolutely cannot stand them. As easy as that, right? Alrighty. Then we have our following sentence, which is gonna be, I really dislike sweet bread. It gives me, okay, we already have cannot stand, we already have foodie, it gives me, puts me off. I don't think so. It gives me hearty. I don't think so. It gives me the heaves, right? The heaves. It gives me the heaves, or it gives me the heaves. Alrighty. So that's the right expression over there. And goodness, what's going on right now? What's going on today? It gives me the heaves, right? It gives me the heaves. That's the proper expression. It gives me the heaves. Alrighty, cool. So our next sentence is going to be I honestly struggle with spicy food because it's aroma. Eating it. So, which one do you think is gonna be the proper word or phrase in this case? So, let's go ahead and take a look at the chat box just down below. And, quite difficult, huh? What do you think it is gonna be? There you go. Absolutely. Puts me off, right? Puts me off. So, in other words, instead of saying, I don't like it or I don't want, it's just basically puts me off, like this type of food puts me off. You don't like it. You cannot stand it. You can actually eat it, right? So I struggle with spicy food. Some people have this kind of issue when they actually see this is spicy food, they cannot eat it, right? They just they feel like putting this off and they don't eat it at all, right? And the last one, guys, so we already have foodie, cannot stand, the heaves, put me off, and obviously it's going to be the last word, right? So let's read the sentence, and the sentence says, I like fatty food in the summer, right? Fatty food in the summer, but then more hearty vegetables and fruits in the winter month. That's right. So me personally, I would have to say that in any season of the year, I love fatty food. I love it. I also like vegetables and fruits, being honest, but I'm not the hearty guy that would love to eat healthy. Alrighty, guys. So before I go any further, or before we just finish today's lesson, I would have to say, I just want you to know that our next program, our next radio episode is going to be the following Thursday. It's not Thursday. It's going to be the following Saturday, right? And remember that the main idea is that through today's episode, through today's lesson, you can go ahead and take notes of the new words and how you can use them in our next episode next Saturday, right? Next Saturday at 10 a.m. is going to be our next episode. So, and our episode is going to be about insomnia, right? Foods for better night's sleeps, right? Remember that this is brought to you by the I Speak program, where the main idea is that we can help you out to improve your English speaking skills and you have better opportunities. Alrighty, guys. So before I leave, guys, I hopefully expect that everything turns just fine, right? I hopefully that you are just having a fantastic day today and a fantastic week. The only thing that I need to say is that I hope to see you in our next episode next Saturday at 9 a.m. At 10 a.m. And something that I forgot, guys, is that if you have liked this, remember to subscribe and also to share among your friends. And remember that the main idea is that every Wednesday we have more vocabulary, and every Saturday we have a space where you can practice this vocabulary. Just study the new words, right? And hopefully we are going to have a better weather this afternoon according to the forecast. One more time, everybody, thank you very much for watching and listening to today's lesson about vocabulary about food, and I hope to see you in the future, everybody. Take it easy, guys. Peace out. Bye bye for now.